Today we're diving into a fight that really gets to the heart of what justice is all about. A fight for the truth, when the official record itself is wrong.
So let's start with a really chilling question. What happens when the entire justice system is built on a lie? When a court makes a life or death decision based on information that is just provably false? Now, this isn't some hypothetical classroom debate. It's the real central conflict in a petition filed right now before the highest court in India.
And this document you're looking at, this is what's at the center of everything. It's what's called a writ petition, filed by a man named Pushp Sharma. And you need to know, this is not your typical appeal. It's a direct plea to the Supreme Court. That's a huge deal, an extraordinary step you only take when your most basic fundamental rights are on the line.
And the stakes? Well, they couldn't be any higher. The petition makes it crystal clear. This isn't just about fixing a typo or correcting some small mistake on paper. It's about a man's fundamental right to life, a right guaranteed by the Constitution, which he says is under direct and constant threat, all because of this one factual error in the court record. Okay, so how did it even get to this point? To really get why this is so urgent, we need to back up a bit and understand who this petitioner is and the pretty dangerous path that led him here.
The world is moving backwards.
So this timeline really lays out how the danger just keeps escalating. It all starts back in 2015. Pushp Sharma becomes a key witness in a huge Supreme Court-monitored case. A few years later, while he's in London, he gets his hands on some really sensitive information, stuff that connects funding to the incidents in that case. So he knows he's in danger. He comes back to India, and on May 23rd, he formally asks for security. What happens next? Just over a week later, on June 1st, he's attacked, physically attacked and hospitalized. And then, and you really need to remember this date, on June 18th, his complaint about the threat to his life is officially recorded by the police. That final date, that is the absolute key to this entire story. And that brings us to the core contradiction of this whole case. It's like a tale of two completely different realities. One story that was told in court, and another, totally opposite one that exists in the state's own official files.
All right, check this out. On one side, you have the state's official narrative, what they told the High Court. They claimed, not once, but on at least 4 separate occasions, that Mr. Sharma never approached them for help after he was attacked. But then, on the other side, you have the state's own police record. You know, a real document, with a diary number, a stamp, a signature, dated June 18th, proving he did exactly that. It's a total contradiction.
So what's the big deal? What was the real-world impact of this lie? Well, a quote from the petition itself just lays it bare. These incorrect statements shaped the reasoning of the impugned orders. To put that in plain English, the court's entire decision, the very logic it used, was built on a foundation of completely false information. And the result of that? It was devastatingly simple. The High Court, acting on that false information, believing that this man had never asked for help, passed orders that denied him protection. Just like that. It left him completely exposed to the exact threats he had been warning the authorities about. So how on earth do you fix a problem like this? I mean, you can't just file a standard appeal. The issue isn't that the judge made a legal mistake, it's that the judge was fed the wrong facts to begin with. To tackle that, you need a really unique and very powerful constitutional tool. And that tool has a fancy name, a writ of certiorari. Now, I know it sounds super complicated, but the idea behind it is actually pretty straightforward. It basically lets a higher court, in this case, the Supreme Court, call up the records from a lower court. The point isn't to rehear the whole case. The point is for the top court to step in and correct the record when a decision, based on a glaring factual error, is causing ongoing harm. You can think of it like a constitutional safety valve, designed to ensure fairness. And it's so important to get this. This is not a standard appeal. This whole thing is happening under Article 32 of the Constitution, which gives every citizen the right to go straight to the Supreme Court when their fundamental rights are violated. And the right we're talking about here is the most fundamental of all, the right to life. The argument isn't, hey, the High Court got the law wrong. No. The argument is that the state shouldn't be allowed to use court orders it knows are based on a lie to deny someone protection right here, right now. So this is where the story gets bigger than just one person. It really becomes about the integrity of the entire justice system. you have to ask, why does this one case matter so much to everyone? Well, it's because it raises this absolutely critical question. Can the state continue to rely on court orders that it knows are based on a disproved version of the facts? I mean, if the government can just keep using an order even when its own records prove that order was based on a lie, what does that say about justice?
The petition offers a really powerful principle to answer that. It's a clear, profound argument that basically says this: in matters of life and personal liberty, the state cannot hide behind a court ruling that its own records prove is no longer supported by the facts. The truth, as we now know it, has to win out.
And that brings us right back to where we started, with the question this case leaves for all of us. On the surface, yeah, it's a fight over a factual record, over diary numbers and court transcripts. But the outcome is going to determine something way more real. It's going to answer the question, how does the truth on paper affect a citizen's actual right to safety in the real world?
और धीरे-धीरे मेरा ठिकाना भी लंदन बन गया, बिल्कुल माल्या और नीरव मोदी की तरह।